Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV of Frederick, Colorado. My name is Michaela. This morning I'm taking you guys through a brand new 2026 Cimarron 8-horse, fully loaded with all the options. This one is well loaded out, perfect for your trainer setup. I'm really excited to bring you guys through it this morning. But before we get to it, we're just gonna go ahead and run through that drawing, check out all those dimensions together. So we have a total floor length of 36 feet, 3 inches. You've got your 8-foot, 2-inch nose. So tip to tail, you guys are looking at 44 feet, 5 inches. We're 8 foot wide, 7'4" tall. And then our empty weight on this guy is gonna be 11,750 pounds. So now let's get to our trailer here in person. We're gonna start with my favorite part, which is our trainer's tack. This one's gonna be our full height trainer's tack. So we've been seeing some of their easy tacks come out where it's more of the half wall that makes a shelf in your dressing room. This one's gonna be full height. So perfect with those trainers that have a bunch of horses, trainers that have a bunch of students or show clients that go with them. You're gonna have tons of storage space in this one. We've gone through and just fully carpet lined the entire thing, so it is well set up when you get to hanging all of your equipment in here. You're gonna have bridle hooks on your exterior door right here, as well as one of your brush trays. I love the brush trays for all of your smaller items, whatever you have that just doesn't need to hang up, doesn't need to go in your saddle racks, all the smaller stuff right here. We do have combo locks across this trailer, so you guys are seeing that box in there. And then we have our fold down steps to step in and out of this space if you guys are stepping up in there to get to saddles, to get to bridles. If you don't need to, but you want to get a little bit closer, these do fold up with your doors open, so that is going to get you even closer. If you just want to be able to grab the saddles right off of here without climbing in and out, grab your pads from right here. You guys can get yourself closer by doing that, but you do have those fold down steps when you need to climb up in here. Coming up on our right over here, we'll work our way around. First thing is going to be your light switch. So reaching in right hand side, your light switch is right here, just this toggle switch. We've got 2 of our Optibrights shining into this space right here, so really good visibility into this space when you are pulling up to the fairgrounds. First thing in the morning, you want to get first in line. You need to unload all your tack out of here. You're going to have plenty of visibility. And then we do have a high and a low row of bridle hooks over here, so really good hanging space to hang all the items that you need. If you're just hanging bridle bags, you're bringing bridles and headstalls, you're training headstalls, extra halters, lunge lines, all of your stuff will hang over here very well. And then your carpet behind is perfect, so you're not scratching up your trailer or your equipment. Over to this wall right here, we're gonna have our full saddle and blanket pole setup. All of these are gonna be built into a recessed post, so built into the framework of our trailer, though they're still gonna be fully adjustable that you guys have seen on all of our Cimarrons. You're just gonna grab your adjustable crescent wrench, loosen your bolts high and low. On any of these saddle racks or blanket poles, you're just loosening these guys, and then they're gonna slide up and down anywhere on this track. If you guys wanted to add more, you could definitely add more. If you just wanna space them out, we could do that. If you guys wanna fully remove them, maybe you wanna move all of these over to that side and leave this wall right here as kind of extra floor space for tack trunks, vacuums, blower carts, whatever you guys need. If you need just floor and wall space, you guys can take these off, relocate them, or just pull them out for now. But I love the versatility of that. And then all your blanket poles right here down the middle. I do see we've got plenty of space to add a couple more if you guys want to go that route. If you need to space them out so you can stack a little bit more, you guys can do that as well with these guys. And additional saddle racks over here, same thing. They're going to slide up and down on your track. You guys can space them out. We can add more. We can relocate them. But I just love having those options so that you're not set in stone. You don't have to try and find another trailer or reorder another trailer to make it what you want. You have the versatility to kind of change this setup up however that works best for you guys. And I love these saddle racks that Cimarron makes. I think they started these guys in like 2019 or 2020. Mine's a 17, so it had the old style, and I changed them out to this style before I took it home because they've been really good. I've not had any complaints with them. I've never had an issue with them. I've never had a saddle fall off of these guys. I think a lot of it is the carpet. Adds a really nice grip factor there, kind of holds it on, kind of like some Velcro. But then they're wither block as well. They own this extrusion, which is a mold. They own this mold. It sets up in the gold of your saddle, really holds those saddles on there. This trailer also is on air ride suspension, so it's gonna float down the road, but I really do like these as well. Over here, we've got 2 more rows of bridle hooks, high and low. Can never have too much hanging space. And then on the floor of this trailer, we went ahead and did that gray rubber tread. So it is really grippy. It's also seamless. So they cut it to fit, and then they go all the way around all of these edges and seal it with that sealant in there. So there's no seams anywhere. Guys, if this gets muddy or dirty in here, you can easily sweep it, vacuum it, blow it out, clean it up. If it gets wet, you're not gonna get moisture down under anywhere. And if you are kind of removing saddle racks and using this as storage space, you're not gonna get issues with mats pulling up or damage to your equipment. It's gonna protect it really well. And then over here on our second door, gonna be the same as the first. You're gonna get more bridle hooks with carpet behind and your brush tray. Then you have this locking mechanism right here, and I really like this. This is your door that closes first. So this is your latch right here, your butterfly latch system. What I really like is that it's one handle. All you have to do is pull this direction to release those locking mechanism there and open this door. Some other trailers that have similar setups I've seen, they have cables like this, but you have to come in there with 2 hands, pull one down, pull one up, and it just ends up to be pretty inconvenient when you don't have 2 free hands. You're pretty much always gonna be carrying something, holding a horse, carrying saddles in and out of here. I love that it's just one hand use, and I'm gonna show you guys. Take this off of that lock right there. When you shut it, you're just gonna give it a good push. It's gonna lock itself. But when you go to open it, one hand, all you're doing is just grabbing that piece that I showed you, and it opens just like that. So I like to point that out because I think that's so nice, so smart, and so easy to use. And all these doors do have holdbacks, so you guys can hold them open when you're on a slope or a breezy morning. This one's gonna shut with your butterfly latch right here. You do have your keyed lock. It's gonna match all of your drop-down windows, all of your doors, dressing room door, but then you also have that combo lock that I pointed out right there. Comes with a factory code that can be changed as well. But nice knowing that you do have a lot of tack and equipment stored in there that you can lock it with that combo lock, as well as just a secondary safety feature there. We're gonna go ahead and work our way back here, tail side. We do have full drops on every single stall here. So I've got these 2 dropped down to demonstrate. Every single one of these windows drops down. So for those of you that either live down south or frequent down south, you travel nationwide, especially days like today, it's gonna be in the triple digits here in Colorado. This is really gonna help open up your trailer, get that air moving, and help keep your horses cooler inside of this trailer. So all these drop down. If you don't want them drop down, maybe this morning it was pretty cool, kind of hard to believe it's gonna get to triple digits, but if it were cooler, you don't want that much airflow, you don't want them to get a chill, they do have those built-in sliding bus windows as well. So you just can slide those open for ventilation, don't have to drop them down. But again, nice that you have those options. Amber turn signal on each side, so that's gonna be this light right here. When we go this wide, this long, this big of a trailer, we like to have more indicator lights. So this one's gonna flash with your turn signal. It's also gonna light up when you brake as well. So just indicating drivers on the road of what you guys are doing when you're moving this big trailer across those lanes. I forgot to flip light switches for these 2. I've got our other lights on that you guys can see, but I do have 2 16-inch awning lights up there for visibility over your tie rings on this side. Even if you're not tying up on this side, but you're coming out, you pull up to the fairgrounds, 4 o'clock in the morning, you need to unload all your horses. It's just nice to be able to flip on all the lights and have visibility all the way around this trailer. You guys are parked up to the sidewalk right here, and you just need to see where you're stepping, where your horses are stepping, getting into those stall barns. It's just nice to be able to light all of that up. And then we did increase marker lights up there as well. That's gonna be more of an aesthetic thing, but also just to be able to see your trailer behind you when you are hauling your big truck up front. You can look in that side view mirror and see exactly where your trailer is behind you. And then moving back down to the bottom, we did do a triple axle and we did a spread axle as well. So you can do a triple without the spread. We like to do the spread on trailers that get this long and this big and this many horses over these axles, because it's going to help with that weight distribution. So it's going to take a less, I wouldn't say a lot, but it is going to help with the tongue weight onto your tow vehicle by spreading that out, versus not having a spread. Your axles will be a little bit more back this direction. Carrying them up front will help with that, helps distribute that weight, and helps when you do hit bumps in the road or potholes. You guys think when you hit a pothole, this wheel is getting down into that pothole. This one's going to get out and back onto solid ground before this one gets into it. So it's not going to be hitting like that. You're going to hit one, get back out. So it really absorbs those bumps a lot better than having all three axles stuck together there. So that's kind of why we like the spread. And then this one is on air ride. So you have your Dexter Airflex axles under this one, and they're going to be 8,000 pound axles. So your GVWR is going to be 24,000 on this trailer. Again, your 11,570 empty. I'll show you guys that air ride system when we get up front. It's going to be great, and we love it on these trainer trailers. We've got a lot of great feedback on our trainers trailers, as well as like our show livestock trailers, our pen trailers, and our cattle trailers. Once you have this air ride system, they never go back. They find that when they pull up to that horse show, their horses step off the trailer, they're filled out, they're not sucked up, they're not drawn up, they're not stoved up in their legs, they're walking off, they're eating, they're drinking, they're happy. We have found, and I've talked to several customers here, even rodeo customers that go travel down to finals and stuff, they had mentioned having to get places 2-3 days early to let their horses acclimate and recoup and rest after getting off of the trailer for so long. After having air ride, they found they've been able to leave a little bit later, not have to spend an extra 3 days ahead of time at that show to let their horses recover. So really positive feedback with that. And then you're looking at Continental tires. They're 19.5s, load range H, so really, really good tire wheel setup under here. You've got electric over hydraulic disc brakes as well. And then your Alcoa wheels. We'll go ahead and work our way back and check out our load space. As we're working our way around this one big swing door right here, you guys will see it's just one full single door, but it's partial size because we have our little quarter wall over here because of our broom closet and our mangers. But it really opens it up, plenty of space to get in and out, and still a good manageable size door. I've got it on my hold back over there, so it will stay open if you guys were sloped the other way or on a breezy day. Up top, 2 of our 8-inch awning LED lights. I'm gonna go ahead and flip that switch right now. While I'm here, you guys can see those flip on and see how bright they are, because they are very bright. Just missed that switch, but we have them inside as well. That's gonna give you guys that visibility over here outside of your rear entrance with this ramp right here, giving your horse confidence climbing in and out of this space. As we step in, I wanna point out this Werm flooring that we have. We did upgrade from the rubber mats. I think when we just get this long of a trailer, we're gonna have a lot of rubber mats in this space. I've got rubber mats in mine. Mine's a 4-horse, and I do find my horses get to pawing in there. They're gonna pull up those rubber mats. Gets really inconvenient to have to pull all those out, power wash out your floor, and then attempt the puzzle of getting them all back in there. So what this Werm is doing, we've got our little emblem right here. It's WERM, it stands for We Eliminate Rubber Mats. It's a pour-in flooring, so they mix it as like a liquid with your rubber chunks. Pour it in and let it set. And it's a non-porous material, so nothing is going to be draining through this floor. It's protecting your aluminum floor underneath. We do have a full solid 1 aluminum floor on these Cimarrons. We like to protect that down there. Also adds a cushion for your horses, as well as a little bit of an insulating factor. On these Cimarron Norstar models, which is their horse trailer model, you're also going to get all of your walls lined and insulated. And then standard on all Cimarrons is going to be your roof that is that insulated material as well. So you're getting an R3 thermal value with that, which means you're going to be 20% cooler in the summer and 20% warmer in the winter. I do notice a big difference, and I've had several customers notice a difference when they come walk through the lot. I had one say it yesterday when we were pushing triple digits yesterday. He walked into one of our show trailers and noticed a big difference, that it was quite a bit cooler in there, even though it was hot outside. Also dent resistant up to a baseball size hail, so adds a really good structural integrity piece to your trailer. versus your sheeted aluminum that you'll see on most other manufacturers that does get the hail dent and then does absorb the heat and transmit it through this stall space right here. This is going to be on every single Cimarron. It's standard, and I have it on mine and I love it. We're going to work our way through our dividers here. These are going to be padded dividers. They're spring loaded, so even though we are sloped a little bit down right now, these dividers are going to swing all the way open up there. And then they are going to be airflow dividers. We call them bar type on our spec sheet, but a lot of people refer to them as airflow. So you're going to get a lot of air movement through this trailer with your drops on each side and then these open air dividers. We did do full kick mats all the way around, so you got really well protected in here. We'll work our way up to the front and check out, we do have a stud wall up here. So this next one's going to be your standard stud stall that you guys are used to seeing, meaning it's full to the floor here with that stud wall partition. And then we do have the bar type up top over their shoulders. If you guys are looking at building a trailer, those can be interchanged if you wanted to mix and match. If you want to just from here forward go full solid and make all this solid, you guys can do that as well. And then we have this other stud wall over here that's the bars with extended bars is how it's going to read on our spec sheets, meaning you have bars over your shoulders and then the extended bars all the way over your hip. So you're not getting a full stud wall all the way roof to floor with this one. This has been really popular for those customers that either have a stud they want to keep contained in there, or maybe a mare that kicks, or if they're looking at just using that space as storage and they need to stack up really high, they can stack all the way up over your standard stud wall with this and not have any worry about stuff sliding over that wall into this space. So extra hay, shavings, grain bags, supplements, vacuums, blowers, that sort of thing. Perfect spot if you guys are looking for that storage, because you have your access door right off of here. So it's going to be really easy to just climb in right here into this space and use this as storage without affecting and having to unload and unload horses. You're very easily able to just get in here with all of your equipment, pull it in and out. And you guys will notice that even though we're on a slant and we have all of our dividers open, they're all still staying open. With our stud walls, we do go double springed on these ones. So it helps them stay open because they're more material. They get a little bit heavier because of that. So doing that double spring helps them to stay open, especially when you're gonna have to load your very first horse. You're all by yourself. You don't have all these dividers falling back on you as you're trying to get up here. It's a little bit safer that way. And then all of these dividers do slam shut. I actually saw a video the other day of someone using their Cimarron, and they showed an example of their kids shutting them because they are so easy. You're not having to, some of them you end up having to like maybe lift them up a little bit, give them a hip chuck, end up slamming them in there. This is so easy. All you're gonna do is just push it shut. And you'll notice this is a very thick piece of plastic. We don't do any metal on metal contact. So even though it is snug in there, if it ever were to rattle, which doesn't seem like it ever will, it would be really quiet because you don't have that metal on metal interference. It's just metal on really thick, heavy duty plastic. And then each stall, it looks like we're gonna have Optibrights every other stall. So lots of visibility into this 8-horse stall area. Each stall is gonna get a 2-way roof vent though. So you're gonna see that over every single horse. That allows you guys to determine how you want the airflow and make it work for you guys. Typically what I do in my trailer and what I recommend to customers is your first half, you're just gonna push those guys open forwards, and it's really easy because these guys are super high quality product. I know in a lot of other manufacturers you guys have the kind where it's just a black plastic piece right here that you have to push. This one has black plastic up here, but you're just gonna squeeze it. So you're squeezing that piece and then pushing it whichever direction you need it to go. Just a little bit stuck because we watch these guys for our videos, but you're squeezing that and then pushing it which direction you need it to go. So it's a lot safer, especially because if you think that black handle right here, that's a plastic piece on those other roof vents. I went to pushing on one maybe a couple months ago on a used trailer, to get that roof vent open, and it actually snapped in my hand and cut the palm of my hand. So this one's not gonna do that. It's a lot safer, it's a lot higher quality product, and I always like to mention when I am looking at Cimarrons here on the lot with customers versus other manufacturers, it's all in the details, all the way down to the fit and finish of these trailers. All the small products that they put into these are very nice. They try and do the best they can. So what I recommend with these guys is your first half, you're just gonna push them open forwards like that. You're gonna be drawing air into this trailer with them facing open forward. And then your back half back there, you push them open facing backwards, you're gonna get the air pulled out of this trailer. So that's gonna give you that really good airflow straight across the top of your horses. You guys think about heat rises, right? So if your horses are in here, they're getting a little bit warm in here because there's so many of them. The heat starts to rise. With these roof vents, you'll be able to kind of manipulate that airflow and get that moving out of this stall area and make it a lot more comfortable. Of course, you do have all your lined and insulated walls as well as your roof, which really helps with that. And then we'll get back to one of these stalls. I'll show you guys the mangers. We do have the mangers all the way, not in your first stall because of that access door, but from 2 all the way back, you're gonna have this manger right here. And they are 18 inches deep on this one. And I check because you can also order trailers if you want with a narrower manger, so a 12 inch. If you guys are looking to kind of put larger horses in here and you wanna shallow that up a little bit, you can order them with 12. These ones are gonna be 18. And then these pieces right here are also gonna be called their head grill. Those are bar type on this trailer because they're looking at building or ordering. That can be swapped out as well to a solid piece. If you just have horses that don't like to share and they're going to cause issues with those being able to view each other, those can be solid. And then each stall you're going to get 2 tie rings. So even with your manger, I love having tie rings because of the versatility and again being able to use this trailer how you need to. If you want to just hang a hay net or a hay bag up here, let them eat out of that, and then whatever falls into the trough they can eat from there. Maybe your horses will not waste as much hay as mine do when I just feed in the mangers and they pull it all out. And then having a second tie ring gives you the ability to tie your horses up to a different one than your hay net or your hay bag. We do have some customers that build these trailers with different setups back here. If you guys are looking at maybe doing every other as a stud wall, you guys are looking at making some of these removable. We've got some customers that do every other stud wall and then every other partial removable to create box stalls. But just know when you do order a Cimarron, you guys can go full custom and order it how you need to. There's also some things we can do here at our shop if you wanted to do some add-ons. If you want to go with stall fans, we can add stall fans in here. We can also do cameras, which have been really popular lately. They could get a couple cameras in here to be able to view all those horses. And they also do a camera out here. They would put it right up here in the middle. I think they replaced that light right there and put your camera in. So you have a reverse camera. But what's great is that it doesn't only work when you're in reverse. It actually has power all the time. So you guys have a view behind you as you're driving down the road, which I think is so nice because nowadays it's nice to be able to see what's going on behind you. If you do have a driver getting too close and you need to make a change for your driving to prevent an accident, it's great that you just have that view all the time versus just when you're in reverse. Over here, we've got our easy angle ladder. I have it stretched out right now to show you guys the angle that you get up into that hay pod with. Makes your life so much easier. We've had a couple used trade-ins come in, much older years on other manufacturers, and they have just that bolt-on ladder that bolts to the side, right? Well, some of them are spaced pretty far off the trailer, and it's okay, but I've had a couple that are maybe only a couple inches off of the trailer. You're trying to stick your toes in there and climb straight up, and it just becomes inconvenient and also dangerous. This one is so much easier because you can stick your feet all the way through. You could be carrying stuff and climb all the way up here. And then we did do a deck extension behind our hay pod. And I was walking the lot yesterday with a customer and she was saying, well, my hay pod doesn't look like that. Why does it look like that up there? Well, that's what we call a deck extension behind your hay pod. We're gonna do that on a lot of these trainers' trailers because our trainers like to stack extra stuff behind their pod. So maybe they're just using their pod for hay storage, something that needs to stay dry. Now you have this whole deck extension for those wheelbarrows that you take with you, your show carts, extra shavings, extra grain, anything outside of that pod. You have that full deck to use. We can add airliner track up there or D-rings to be able to strap stuff down. Just gives you guys options and more storage. And then this ladder is so easy to use. It's gonna slide all the way back in place. You can do it with one hand. You're not gonna be out here fighting and battling this guy. Just one hand slides up into place, has a base that it sits on, and then it actually locks into this butterfly latch right here, this paddle latch, and it is keyed the same as all your other keys. Now you guys, even if you did not have a rear ramp, you have a rear ramp on this one, which would cover this, but let's say you didn't have one, now you can lock this and just completely have peace of mind and not a worry that this guy's gonna bounce out and start dragging down the road behind you because it is locked into place. This one you'll also have the ramp that folds over it. So I've had some customers ask, can you fit the easy angle ladder with a rear ramp? The answer is yes, you can definitely do that. And I'll go ahead and shut this door so you guys can see it. I've also had a lot of customers ask how heavy these ramps are. And I think I've been told I make it look a little too easy sometimes, but I had a customer yesterday come and she was like, nope, just let me do it because I want to see if I can do it. And I watched and she didn't struggle, and then she had a good laugh about it because I was waiting to watch her struggle, but they're so easy. They're spring loaded, they're gonna help themselves up. You can really do it with one hand. They're not that bad. And then this little piece over here, we're just gonna walk through this because I do get a lot of questions on this. If you come to pick up right here, I'm putting in pretty good force right now. It's not coming up. Maybe if you shake it back and forth, you'll get it up. That's gonna start to annoy you that you have to work that hard to get that. I promise you don't. All you're gonna do is you can either come right here, and that's gonna make it work so much easier. Look how much better that works because you have better leverage, right? Or you come down here and push up right there. So one of two ways, but I promise you both of those will work better than trying to pick up right here. Make your life easier. I like to just show that trick right there. That goes back in there. And then while we're here, all of our light switches are right here to control all these lights that I've been halfway demonstrating today. You got your controls right there. And then we also have tail lights with built-in reverse lights now. That is gonna be standard on all your trailers. You're already gonna get reverse lights versus having to pay the upgrade for those. Stepping around the corner, we have our broom closet over here. So that's just gonna be kind of the end space of your mangers. You can taper off your manger and delete this if you want, or you can just continue that manger down and use this space as your broom closet. I love these for storage that you don't want in that nice carpeted tack room. So extra brooms, extra pitchforks, extra hoses. You guys have utility hooks in here instead of, you've got bridle hooks over here on your door, but now you have utility hooks in here, which means this piece is a little bit wider, but this spacing is also wider. So that's gonna be so much easier when you are hanging up, especially hoses in here, water hoses or vacuum hoses. You're gonna have so much more space to work with versus having to try and cram them on those tightly spaced bridle hooks. Also pitchforks, if you wanna set your pitchforks up in there, or brooms. We just like the utility hooks back there for the versatility aspect. Full carpet behind. This is just gonna protect your equipment, but also maintain resale value, because this is gonna protect your walls, which would otherwise get black streaking from whatever sets up against there. And then rubber mat down on the floor right here. If you guys are building a trailer, you can make that grade rubber or worm. I've got one customer that just worms everywhere. So note, you can do that. There's a light in here as well. Toggle switch is right here. So we really try and light these trailers up the best we can to make them super easy and accessible for our customers in all hours. Fully carpeted door, and then there's those bridle hooks. So this is gonna be a great space for a lot of our trainers. Load their horses on, clip them in there to trailer ties, take the lead rope off, and walk out here with the lead rope. I've seen a lot of them just piled up on the floor in rear tack setups. You guys can hang all of those right there. If you wanna hang, just bring some extra halters with you because you never know when you're gonna need to catch a loose horse. You can hang those all right there and you'll be able to get to them a lot quicker than having to go up front and drop those fold down steps down and open doors and get to them that way. Did not do a fold down step right here because this is stuff you're not really gonna be having to climb up in here to get to. So now you can just open your door and walk right up to this space. Now we have drop downs on head side as well, but the difference is you're gonna get jail bars when you drop down these head windows. It's all gonna be the same window, but now we've added a jail bar, and that's just to keep your horse's heads inside while you're traveling. This window, same as your tail side, will pop into place. You guys can travel with all these windows down. If you do need to get up in there, you wanna offer them some water, set a water bucket in the manger, throw some more hay. You need to unclip their trailer tie before you open the door because they'll start to leave as soon as that door's open. You guys can get in here and do that. I will always recommend, since you have mangers, get you a fold down step or like a fold up step so you have something to climb on to get up in here. We've got our air ride turned on right now, so we have gained about 4 inches. It's still way up in the air even when you do lower it. So get a step. You guys can climb up in here, check on your horses, and then easily put these jail bars back up before you get going down the road. These are full one piece, there's no moving parts. So all you're doing is just manipulating that drop down window to get those to those grooves right there. And then we do have manger storage under all of these, 2 through 8. So all these doors will open, and then all of this is gonna lead to the same space. Every other, as you guys are seeing, is gonna have a little bit of carpet there with utility hooks. So those are those bigger, wider hooks. You guys are looking at more hanging space in here for those hoses, vacuum hoses, garden hoses, water buckets. You guys have a lot of good storage in here. Some of that equipment that you just don't want in your trainer's tack or your broom closet. And then we have an oversized flip up manger door. So this has been popular, something we started to do on these trailers when we have this length to work with and these number of manger doors to work with. Go ahead and make this one oversized and flip up. We've got a lot of trainers, customers that will install and mount a second spare tire in here because when you are putting that many miles going down the road, you want to have a backup to your backup. You can easily fit another spare in here. You can easily get all of your tire change equipment in here. Anything that's much larger that you cannot sneak through those smaller doors, this is the perfect spot. Just getting you guys more accessible storage. Again, all leading to that same space right there, so there's no walls in between. Did need to get some stuff and lay it long ways down in there, could definitely do that. Maybe some of those organizer racks that you guys take with to horse shows, the pop-up tents, your folding chairs, those, what do you call them, conductor chairs, the big ones, you guys can get all of those down in there. And this is on the gas shock. So right now it's held up with those gas shocks. I'm gonna show you guys, when you do put it down, it's on gas shock, so it is gonna help itself down. Once you get to about there, just give it a little bit of a nudge and it's gonna close itself. When you pick it open, you're just gonna unlock both of these and you're gonna have to give it a good tug because of those gas shocks. But once you get to about there, it's gonna help itself up and then stay up for you guys. Just keep in mind when you're shutting it to watch those fingers. And then back up to our escape door or our access door, we saw this. This is the one that leads into our full stud wall. So if you guys are using this space for storage, you guys can climb in and out right here and use that for storage. If you also just want to maybe get in and check on your horses, if you don't have those cameras in there, you can step in right there. Either way, you have some options with that door being right there. It does have 2 latches on it just for safety purposes. So if you did have the horse right there and they were kind of playing with that paddle latch, you're gonna have a secondary latch out here so they can't ever open as it's going down the road. Try and keep a lot of safety in mind with these Cimarrons. And then one thing to point out is gonna be our hinges. We've got a lot of hinges right in this area, so this is perfect. Got hinges everywhere. All of these are gonna have grease certs on both sides. And then inside is actually a swivel or a spiral. I'm lacking the words today. Hello, Monday round 2. But it's gonna have a spiral inside. So when you do add your grease cert right here and stick grease into this, what you're gonna wanna do is just work whatever hinge it is. Any of these hinges, grab it, work it just a little bit. It's gonna push that grease all the way through, and that helps you guys maintain it and keep it lubricated at home. Now working our way up to the back side of our trainer's tack. So we saw our full trainer's tack on the other side. This is the other side of that wall. This is gonna be kind of a dressing room, changing room space. So if you are a trainer that's gonna take a lot of clients with you or a lot of your own change of clothes with you, this is the perfect spot. You're gonna have fully carpet all these walls. We've got a location of bridle hooks right here, so extra hanging space for that. But then behind me, we also have this huge full-length shelf. Has a 2-inch lip. You guys are used to seeing this in our RTG models. It's got your rubber mat in there, so maybe some hat cans would fit perfectly up here. And then down below, this giant clothes rod. It's perfect for hanging all those garment bags with you when you go to shows, all of your change of clothes up there. Keep them nice, you're not gonna lay them down anywhere. Full carpet all the way behind. And then heading up this way, we've got a full carpeted boot box as well. It's great extra storage down in here. Keep stuff contained up off the floor. Keep it a little bit cleaner. This one's gonna be your 12-inch boot box. You guys can also build a trailer, add a little bit more length and make this an 18-inch if you wanted something a little bit wider. Also acts as a bench or a step up into your nose. We do have a second clothes bar right here. So if you need more hanging space, you've already got it right there. We do add an extra awning or OptiBright LED up there in the front of the nose for visibility up here when you are using this space as storage and you're throwing all of the other stuff up here, those bigger canopy tents and chairs on the bigger racks that you guys are setting up in your stalls, your tack stalls at horse shows. You guys are gonna be able to see when you are loading and unloading. Got bus windows on each side for some ventilation. And then these trailers, all Cimarron standard, are pre-framed for AC. So if you did want to use this as a hangout space, you guys can add an AC unit at any point down the road as it's already framed for it. I do have one more OptiBright right here. So we got 2 in this space. And then coming down to your right, I have my switch for them right here. Try and keep them just right inside the door to the right. That's where you're mostly gonna find those guys. Gray rubber tread on the floor in there as well. Just gonna help you keep your trailers cleaner a little bit easier. We do have a brush tray on this door as well for smaller items. And then we do have a combo lock on this door as well. Knowing that you'll also not have tack and equipment in here, but other things that are of value. Instead of just a key, you guys can also do a combo lock right here. Coming up here, so first thing I want to point out is this light right here. This light is not on right now, it's just an indicator light. Being a triple axle air ride, something that we do exclusively here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV, is an air dump. And what that means is it's similar to maybe your bigger commercial haulers. I know you guys are familiar with that. I've had a lot of customers come in and say they have it on the semis that they pull. Here, it's not actually going to lift a tire up off the ground, but it's gonna take all the air out of the bags of your front axle. So again, it's not coming up off the ground, but it's taking all the air out of there. It's gonna really take the weight off of that axle, putting all of the weight on your rear 2 axles. It's gonna allow you to spin this Freightliner around in a U-turn here in this parking lot and turn this trailer like a tandem axle. So what that's doing for you guys, it's allowing a lot less tweak on those axles. We've seen other trailers come in, triple axle air rides that do not have an air dump on them. They come in here during their summer run through I-25 here and with blown tires and axle issues and all kinds of stuff happening. We get them all fixed up, we add an air dump on it, end up never seeing them again because they don't have any more issues. So this is just an indicator light. You're gonna have a little key fob that's on your key ring as an on and an off. You're gonna push on, this light's gonna flash. It's gonna let you know that the air has been taken from there. You guys can go ahead and turn your trailer around. Then it's gonna have an off. You're gonna push off, this light's gonna stop flashing. It's gonna put air back to that front axle, and then you guys can get going down the road again. I always recommend keep that little key fob in a glove box, down in a center console, anywhere that's not in your cup holder. You do not accidentally want to bump that as you're flying down I-25 because when you hit those brakes, you're gonna flatten one of your tires because there's no weight on those tires. So just a tip right there to keep that up out of the way, but an amazing system that's here at Transwest that saves you guys a lot of time and trouble when we have these bigger trailers. This is gonna be our air ride box over here. So it's gonna be your Dexter Airflex system. It has its own onboard compressor and it's auto leveling. All you guys need to worry about is on and off, raise and lower, and then your dump valve right here. Typically what we recommend is you're gonna get hooked up and get to loading all your equipment, turn it on. but leave it at lower. And that's gonna start building pressure in your compressor right here, kind of like an air compressor at home. You turn it on and you let it build. Then you're gonna load your horses, load your equipment. Before you go, turn it down to raise. That's gonna push the air to your bags. It lifts up your trailer about 4 inches. So that's why I recommend doing it that way, because your rear ramp gets a little bit steeper when you gain 4 inches of elevation right there. And then when you're done, you're turning it off, turning it to lower, and you guys will hear and see that it's somewhat gonna push the air out of the system. It's not gonna do it all the way. Then you have your dump valve right here. Now I'm just gonna pull it towards me, and it's gonna start pushing that air out a lot quicker. You guys can see our gauge right there reads, it's dropping, right? It's gonna get all the way back to 0. So if you're just stopping for the day, you're stopping for dinner, stopping for lunch, you guys don't have to worry about that. But if you're stopping overnight for long periods of time, we just recommend draining that out. If you don't, if you leave a little bit of air in there, you're gonna get some condensation, which is eventually gonna lead to water in your lines. So if you forget for a couple days and you come out here and pull this and a little bit of water spurts out at you, don't be concerned, it's just purging the system. Just remember that next time. Right here is gonna be a little holder for your 7-pin. Right now we're plugged into our Freightliner for lights, but when you're parked and you're unhooked, set your 7-pin in there, just stores it away and keeps it out of the elements. This is gonna be a handle for a manual override of our electric jacks here. So if you ever did kill your batteries, you have a manual override option. You guys can crank these up and down that way. Aluminum battery box that is locking with the same key as all your doors and windows. We have a double size battery box in here, so if you guys ever want to add more batteries in the future, you already have space for a second one. So you're gonna have one battery here, battery disconnect switch right here. So if you are unplugged, unhooked, you just want to run your lights to get unpacked and stuff, you can do that. Just flip it to green right there. You guys can run all of your lights. When you're done for the day, maybe you don't remember if you left on that dressing room light or your broom closet light, right? Just flip this to red. It's gonna cut all the power to your battery so you don't accidentally kill it and have to hand crank your jacks up and down. Over here is our RedArc. This is gonna act as a supercharger. Typically you will be trickle charging off of your 7-pin. This is gonna increase that and help maintain and keep your batteries topped off. Over here, full-size matching spare tire. Same wheel, just on backwards, but you'll have your Alcoa, your Continental tire, and then your equalizer jacks. The equalizers are my favorite because they do have your manual override option right here. So this is where you're gonna stick that handle in and crank these guys up and down. A lot of other jacks that are the electric over hydraulic jacks, they don't have this. So I love this fail-safe option for that. Up here is a hydraulic reservoir. This is not for your jacks, this is for your electric over hydraulic brakes. So just make sure your fluid stays topped off right there. Then we do have this trailer set up on a Freightliner truck, guys. If you guys are looking for the full package deal, we have these trucks here, and I don't know too much about them, but I know we have a lot of cool conversions on the inside. I know we've got 106s here. I think we can also look at some 112s for you guys. If you're needing a truck trailer combination, we are glad to discuss that with you guys and work up a deal for you. We're gonna video this truck next for you guys and show you. My truck salesman will be glad to walk you through all of those features and options that you can get right here. But this one's already set up to go. If you have any questions, you just want to take this home with you, give me a call. If you want to build your own trailer, look at something a little bit smaller, I would love to help you guys out. My name is Michaela. My cell phone is 303-918-6367. It's an iPhone. Please call or text that number. My email is michaela.hall@transwest.com. Thank you guys so much for joining us and walking through this truck trailer combination, and we'll see you next time.